All right, let's talk about the big blue elephant in the room, or rather, the big 10-foot tall alien in the room. Now, at this time, I have yet to see the third movie, but we're talking obviously James Cameron's Avatar and whether or not it had true cultural impact all these years, making the billions that it is. I mean, it's one of the highest grossing franchises of all time. Actually, it's literally the highest grossing movie of all time, followed by Endgame and then Avatar 2 and Titanic. This guy makes grossing billion-dollar movies look easy. And yet, can you name three characters if you hadn't just seen the movie? Can you quote a single line that isn't just someone hissing or snarling? I got Jake Sully, and that's it. And mind you, I've seen each movie multiple times. So despite the $1 billion, nobody really quotes it, nobody can remember the characters' names, and there's no I'll be back, no this is the way, no memes that refuse to die around it. When Avengers dropped, the internet was a war zone of memes for a decade. When Star Wars drops, we get a new template. But Avatar, it's like a phantom. It's most successful thing ever that no one actually talks about. No cultural one-liners living rent-free in your head. So the question is, did the biggest movie ever made leave the smallest cultural impact ever made? Today, we're diving into why the cultural impact of Avatar is so weirdly invisible, why the memes don't exist, and why, spoiler alert, that was actually James Cameron's plan all along. First off, let's address the meme gap. Why don't we see Avatar memes? Like, I mean, to be fair, if you went online right now because the movie is literally out, yeah, obviously you're probably going to see some memes here and there. But it takes literally up to a week before the movie actually comes out to actually see anything. Memes usually thrive on irony, snark, or relatable humor. Marvel is built on these moments. It's basically pre-packaged for Twitter, to be honest with you. Avatar, though, it's kind of dead serious. Like, obviously, it's got its fun moments. That's not what I mean. Like, especially when it comes to its dialogue, it's delivered really doesn't leave opening for interpretation at all. It's sincere in its delivery and what it's trying to tell you. It's hard to meme a movie that takes itself that seriously. Like, you don't really have opportunities to, unless they're by accident. But James Cameron didn't make Avatar to be quoted. I don't believe so. He didn't make it to be memed. He made it to be experienced. Because at his core, James Cameron isn't just a storyteller, he's an explorer. This is the guy who literally went to the bottom of the Marina Trench because he was bored on a Tuesday. When he makes Avatar, he's not trying to give you a profound narrative. He's trying to take you on a trip. It's Cameron saying, come with me. I found this cool world over here. Let's go check it out. Think about it. The first hour of both movies, and probably this third one, is basically a National Geographic special on an alien planet. It's about how the bioluminescence works, how the animals breathe, how the wood feels. It's a Planet Earth episode with a $1 billion budget. But that doesn't mean it hasn't had an impact. Avatar became one of the most globally recognized environmental allegories. Indigenous communities around the world used Avatar's imagery during land rights protests, compared the Na'vi to real-life indigenous struggles, embraced the film as a visual metaphor for colonial exploitation. Right? Makes sense, which, duh, right? People love to complain that the story is just Pocahontas in space or dances with wolves with blue people. And you know what? They're right. But here's the thing. The story isn't the point. It was never meant to be some Inception level brain teaser. Is he awake? Is he asleep? Who the hell knows? Let's be honest, the story is basic. That's fine. Basic done well still works. That's why I love Demon Slayer. The story goes, man enters new land, meets the locals, realizes his people are the problem, switches sides, defends the world. You've seen it before, but the story is just a delivery system. Let's not forget the Disney World impact as well, right? So you have the theme parks. Pandora isn't a ride, it's an ecosystem you walk through. And that's exactly what James Cameron is going for. Avatar didn't fail to leave a cultural mark, it's just left a completely different one. It changed things. How movies are shot, how theaters are built, how audiences expect scale and realism, and how worlds are treated as characters. Take this in, okay? So we've established that Avatar is basically an alien nature documentary. Okay, but for the sequel, The Way of Water, James Cameron decided that regular CGI water that kind of looked perfectly fine in other movies wasn't good enough. He didn't just want to look wet, he wanted it to be physically perfect. Most movies use this dry for wet, right? That's when they hang actors on wires, blow some fans on them, and add some digital bubbles later on. It's why Aquaman looks like everyone's just kind of flying around in very thick air. Cameron said, nah, that ain't good enough. So he built a 9,000 gallon tank that could simulate waves and currents. He forced his actors to become professional free divers. Kate Winslet literally held her breath for 7 minutes and 14 seconds, breaking Tom Cruise's record. All because James Cameron wanted the way their skin moved and their eyes reacted to be, well, real. But there was a massive problem, right? Motion capture uses infrared light and cameras to track dots on the actors' suits. Okay. Water, though, reflects light. The camera couldn't tell the difference between an actor's shoulder and a random reflection on the surface. Problem. So, solution: millions of small white polymer balls floating on top of the water. They acted like a giant diffuser, letting the light through for the actors, but blocking the reflection that would have fried the computer's brain. That statement fries my brain. Who thinks of this stuff? This is the part that actually sounds more sci-fi than that. They had to capture a performance above the water and below the water simultaneously. They had one motion capture volume submerged and another sitting right on top of it. The software had to merge those two worlds in real time. If a character broke the surface, the computer had to instantly hand off the data from the underwater cameras to the ceiling cameras without losing a single frame of the actor's performance. We're talking about 18.5 petabytes of data. To put that in a better perspective, that's about 19,000 high-end desktop computers full of data just to make sure the ripples on a Navi's skin looked right. And then there's the rest of the movie. This is why there's no meme culture for Avatar. You don't meme a technical miracle. You just stare at it. Be thankful you're getting this opportunity to gaze on such craziness. Bro, it's the highest budget flex in human history. See, James Cameron didn't build Avatar for the hardcore fanboys. He built it for the multi-generational squeeze. It's one of the few franchises left that your 8-year-old cousin, your 45-year-old dad, and your 80-year-old grandma can actually all sit through and probably enjoy it together. I mean, that's how I enjoyed the film. Well, not with my grandma and my dad, but with my mom. Me and my mom, we watched the first one, we watched the second one, and the only thing preventing me from watching the third one is her schedule. And we'll watch it. So think about the MCU. To understand the latest Marvel movie, you usually need to have seen 3 TV shows, 12 other movies, and a post-credit scene from like 2014 or something. It's a lot of work. Avatar has zero homework. The themes are primal. It's about protecting the family, belonging, and nature is cool. These are universal human truths that don't need a Wikipedia page to explain it. In The Way of Water, the story shifts from soldiers in a new world to father trying to keep his kids alive. Pretty quick to understand that, pretty basic, and something everybody can get on board with. Suddenly, every parent in the audience was locked in. They weren't looking at the VFX anymore, they were feeling that dad's stress of Jake Sully trying to manage a bunch of rebellious teenagers in the new neighborhood. The story that me and my mom enjoy going. I mean, I've been waiting for it for, I guess, a couple decades at this point. But it's great. Something that we can put on and go through together and just check out and then just enjoy the visual feast. James Cameron has said that this might be his last one, that if it doesn't gross the same numbers that it used to, he might not get the budget to really make any more. You know what? I get it. Granted, the man has probably been doing this for like 30 years or whatnot now. He might be tired, so he's okay and willing to give it up. Regardless, the ride has been fun. But that being said, it doesn't mean that it has had no cultural impact or that it's leaving having had no cultural impact. Just because you don't see it and just because it hasn't been memed. It's just not that kind of movie. It kind of comes from a time as well where memes weren't really a thing. Like they existed, but they just weren't as heavily dominated as our current timeline is. To say that Avatar has no cultural impact, if you ever hear from anybody, just remind them that James Cameron literally had to invent a new way to see light just to make blue aliens jump into a pool. This is just a different kind of movie, man. And that's it for the video. If you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, share this out with someone who would love it. And until next time, what do you recommend?